Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the new 2022 PSE XF30. So this is 30 inches axle to axle. It's the latest hunting bow from PSE. Now this bow comes in two cam models, three cam models. The EC, which is this one, this is the standard cam that PSE have had for ages. It's on their target bows, it's been on their hunting bows for ages. It's basically a big round wheel. Shoots at 340 feet per second. Draw length is adjustable from 25.5 to 30.5. Almost a 7-inch brace sight, 6 and towards 7 inches, 6 inches and 7/8, I think. Look, it's a pretty compact bow. Now PSE have always had a hunting bow in their lineup, obviously. Last year was the 32-inch bow. The year before that was a 31-inch bow, and they had a 28-inch bow. So 30 to 31 inches is very, very standard. And all it's going to mean is the angle of the string on your face. That's the only difference you're going to feel between a 31-inch bow and a 40-inch bow. So this bow is almost 7 inches in brace height, so the distance from there to there. So that means when you're aiming, you're going to get less, it's going to be less twitchy. Bows with shorter brace heights are more twitchy to shoot, so you'll feel more of a, you'll see more of a wobble when you shoot. They'll be more stable, a longer brace height, so 7 inches, and they also are a little bit slower than shorter bows because you're actually drawing more back. You got more draw curve in it. So, about this bow, what's changed from the bows in the past? So the cam system's the same. The way you adjust the cams is you've got two little screws here, that torques there and down here. Now I would prefer there to be 3 locking screws. There's 2, so there and there. A being the longest letter, each letter being half an inch. You do not need a bow press to adjust this. You just simply move it. It's the easiest of all bows to adjust the draw length on the PSE. Most bows these days have draw length adjustment. PSE have a wide draw length adjustment, and obviously on this bow it's 25.5 to 30.5. On the E2 cam, which is the more egg-shaped cam, which is the slightly faster one, it goes from 27.5 to 31.5. So if you're taller, that cam might be more suitable to you. It's got more of a dump off in the draw cycle, so as you're pulling over, it lumps over and lumps into a valley, where this cam is smoother. With this cam, you can adjust the let off by moving the draw stop forward or back. This is set to 90% at the moment, moved all the way back. If you want to decrease the let off, so let's say make it 80%, you just move that draw stop forward. Basically what you're doing is reducing the size of the valley. These modules can be changed to the low let off. These are high let off, they come from the factory. PSE fitted this yoke system here. This is for tuning purposes, so you can twist one side of the yoke more than the other. I find I don't do it. Most of the PSEs are shoot straight out of the package, and I have more success. If I do have to tune the bows, moving the cams left to right using little shims here. Now, the cam finish on this bow feels different to the PSEs in the past. The PSEs in the past, and I'm suggesting this is probably still the same, are a film dip process. So they paint the bow, and then they dip it into a bath, which has got the film in it. Now this feels different. It feels more solid. It feels thicker. It feels very much like your elite bow where they've got some sort of different finish. This paint feels different to the PSEs in the past. The limbs feel different. Metal limb pockets, which you get with PSE on the more expensive bows. Now what's changed on this bow is the cable guard, which I really like. So it bolts into the riser twice, and it's adjustable, moves in or out. Comes with a roller slide here. The cables are served there. String stop's nice and simple. 2 stabilizer holes there and there. A rear hole here, but there's no bushing on the back here. So it's got multiple sight holes here. So it's pretty much everything you'd want from a hunting bow. Now, I really like this system here that it locks into me nice and easy. Now, you should hopefully be able to see, if you hold it up to light, how much thread you've got left. And here it will say 10 turns. So 10 turns you can wind this bow out. The limbs are slightly beyond parallel, so be careful when pressing the bow. And when you press the bow, you're always best to wind it out a little bit first. because you don't want to put too much pressure on these limbs and cause compression cracks in the bellies here of them. These are a Gordon glass limb, which is what pretty much everyone uses these days. Now with PSE, every limb is a different poundage. It's how they stop the cams twisting and torquing. So this year they put little silver markers on to make it easier to read. So the lightest limb is the bottom left, and then it goes right, left, then it goes bottom right, and then top right. Some people say, well, the pattern, most times this is the lightest limb, and then it goes down here, and then up there, and then down here. Sometimes it's there, then there. It just depends on the bow. So the heaviest limb on this bow is the top one here. So just depends on the bow, the configuration of it, the position of the cable guards, all the rest of it. But on this bow, it's a bit unique. This is the lightest here. So rubber grip, so that feels quite comfortable. You can obviously take the rubber grip off if you want to shoot without it. 340 feet per second, so it should be quite quick, which is amazing given it's almost a 7-inch brace height. So let's shoot some arrows and see how we find it, see how much vibration there is, and see what sort of speeds we get. Okay, so the arrow I'm shooting first off, these are VAPs. They are 350s with a 140 grain point. I think they weigh 390 grains. They're my target arrow. So these fast bows get about 310 with these arrows. My target bow, I think, is getting around 290s. So the draw cycle is solid to start with. So it's very solid to start with. That's where you're getting your speed from. So this is a 60-pound bow. It's at 29 inches, which is straight out of the factory. I've just fitted a D-loop to it, put a whisker biscuit on a 3-pin sight. That's it. No peep sight, no nothing. That's what we do in all our reviews. So it's quite solid, and then valley there, and you get back here and it's dead stop. So 90% let off back here, but it still feels good. I'm going to take the shot. Now I had trouble getting speed, it didn't give me a speed. So we're going to move this chronograph back a little bit. It's low light and we're inside today because it's a bit miserable outside. Bow felt dead in the hand, it's well balanced. The bow just sort of sits there. It's not tilting left to right, it's just naturally balanced straight up and down and sitting there in my hand. My hand's open. So it feels really good when you shoot the bow. A little bit of noise, but it's very quiet. I'm really struggling trying to get speeds. We might have to go outdoors and do that at the end of the video. We'll just fire one more and see if I can get a speed. We'll have to take it outside, see if we can get some speeds out of it. But it feels fast, it feels nice to shoot. Really nice draw cycle, it's solid all the way through. Now you're going to say, which cam do I go for? Do I go for the E2? Do I go for the EC? I don't know. This is a smoother draw cycle. So if you like the smoother draw cycle, this is the cam I would choose. Saying that, when I shot the E2 cam, I wasn't a big fan of the E2 cam. When I did the review, I was like, this feels too lumpy to me, but I shot extremely well with it. So I'm like, well, it's a little bit faster and I shoot really well with it. This is the big PSE cam. This is the cam that's been on the bows for years and years. There's just plenty of them out there. There's plenty of modules out there. The E2 is the newer version, which is a little bit quicker and obviously a little bigger draw length. The S2, I think, is a shorter draw length. I'd be tempted to shoot this one just because it's easier through the draw cycle. I like the adjustability of let off. It's just simple. Okay, so we'll try this again. It says 277. That's with a VAP. We'll just shoot one more. Now there is a little bit of a hump at the end. When you get to the end, it does drop down. With the low let-off modules, you'll get less of that. It'll kind of be a lot smoother at the end, but you'll be holding more weight. So 60 pounds. I'm guessing when I get back there, I'm holding 15. So that's on maximum pound there. You can hold that kind of all day. 278. This is a gold tip velocity. It's a 400 spine arrow with an 80 grain point. It weighs 327. .301 feet per second. Now with the gold tip velocity, you can feel the weight coming out of it. You don't feel any vibration. You can hear more noise coming out of the bow when you shoot the lighter arrow. It's a crisp noise. You don't feel the vibration in the string because you've got a string stop down here stopping the dampening. But it's quite a fast. It's not a twangy sound. It's quite a crisp sound you can hear from it. But no vibration in the bow whatsoever. You can just see like the bow's just completely stable in the hand, 302. So with that, we'll go back to 18 meters and we'll see how well I shoot. Okay, so hopefully I've sighted the bow in, definitely hit the 10, so we're ready to shoot. So one of the questions I saw today was, am I best to buy a cheaper bow with more expensive accessories like, you know, a $500 rest and etc. Now, as I said at the start of this video, I'm using a $20 rest, a $20 sight, and just shooting. Now, I'd recommend starting with decent arrows, and you know, the definition of decent means consistent arrows, so they should be around $100 a dozen. Anything above that you don't really need. They don't improve your scores that much, but the little crappy Chinese ones, you know, they're a bit iffy, right? So get started. The most important thing is you to repeat the same shot over and over again. The bow itself, like this, is a nice bow. Would I be better shooting a 33-inch bow, a 35-inch bow? Look, I think I'll shoot around the same. Now, when it comes to competition archery, like there's a couple of points in it between the top shooters. So that's where they're like, well, if I can pick up 2 points, I will change the bow. If I can pick up 2 points, I will change my arrows. So literally, it's just a couple of points difference. So for hunting, you're more looking for a compact bow, lighter, which is going to get in the way less of trees. So look, you could shoot target with this, no problem. And you could shoot a decent score with, and I think I will shoot a decent score. Let's see how I go. But the major thing is to shoot lots of arrows. The more you shoot, the more your muscles will develop, the more consistent you'll be, the less you'll shake, the more you'll be in control of things, less nervous. Everything would be better the more you shoot. Bow feels lovely. I really love the cable guard. Look, I don't know if this bow is that much of an improvement of the bows in the past. You know, the EVL32s, the NXTs. This is the same cam system as the EVL32s, the NXT31s. The riser is slightly different. The cable guard's different. There's some things about it which are slightly different. The limb things slightly different. I don't know what they're called now. But the bow shoot's very similar. I'm going to say the bow feels more crisp than before, so I'm guessing there's a little bit more pressure on these limbs than the 31 and the 32. I'm going to guess it's a little bit more parallel than the other bows in the past. That's just me guessing because this bow feels quite crisp to shoot. Look, you will shoot better with stabilizers. The more weight you put on your stabilizer, the further it is away from this pivot point here, the harder it is for you to move. But, you know, you've got to have the strength to hold the stabilizers. So, you know, my thing is just go shoot. Just go shoot, see how you shoot, and work on it from there. Everything from there is going to be a minor improvement. So I'm shooting a tournament yesterday, and I'm shooting with a lady, Marguerite, and she's like, I can't beat the top female archer in the state. And I said, why not? Why can't you beat her? You're not that far behind her. She goes, no, she's got more experience than I have. And I said, that's just you limiting yourself. You should always picture that you're going to win, that you're going to be successful, and set yourself goals to achieve that. So your goal might be, I'm going to shoot every day. The goal might be, I'm going to shoot a few tournaments. I'm going to shoot against someone who's better than her, and beat them. So, you know, like a little stage. Now, what she said to me is, I don't shoot as well in tournaments as I do in practice, and that's the pressure of the tournament. The same thing can occur if you're hunting. So, if you're drawing back on an animal, you might find you'll get the shakes because your heart's racing faster. It's like there's more stress in the situation. And the number of people who blow up their bow when they're pulling back on an animal, you wouldn't think it, but the number of people who do that, and that's because they'll be talking the bow or doing something. They might have knocked the arrow. Generally, they'll be talking the bow. They'll generally be holding the grip really tight. But that's a stress situation. So how do you overcome that? You've got to shoot in a stressful situation. So that might be shooting in a tournament, shooting in a club, building up to it. Shooting with someone you don't want to shoot with, maybe. Just build up to it. And enjoy the experience. It's so important to enjoy the experience. Like you're in a hard situation, you do well, then you can pat yourself on the back and go, well, I did well in that situation. In fact, she said to me, I've only ever pulled out a tournament once. And something happened, her blood sugar levels went funny. I don't know what it was. There was a reason. I said, I've never pulled out of a tournament, never finished. I have never not finished a shoot. I've been shooting for 40 years. Now, other archers, I know might finish 50% of their shoots because they'll drop a bad arrow and they'll just pull out. Now, it depends on your view. My view is, if you shoot a bad arrow, it doesn't matter. It's in the past, you move forward. So it's now we're looking at better arrows. Now, you might not shoot a good shoot this time, but as long as you're focusing on the next shot, you might finish with a perfect and go, well, actually it didn't matter with what happened before that. It was the last 6 arrows I'm going to remember. My thing is, if you put yourself under lots of pressure and you're like, well, I've got to succeed. If I don't succeed, I'm going to pull out. You might shoot 30% of tournaments. You might complete 30% of tournaments you enter. And to me, are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying the whole process? Like, I like shooting. It's relaxing for me. I like going down there. I like shooting with people. I like, seeing them. I like, helping out some people. It's an experience. If you're just there like, I've got to shoot the best score, if I don't, I'm pulling out, I'm going home. Well, that's up to you. And that may be a winning success story. You might say, well, I'm the best archer in Australia, and I have been for so many years, and that's my success story. Okay, well, it might be, but then you think about all those people who have been trying to beat you, and they're putting this effort in to beating you. You shoot a bad arrow, and then you piss off and go home because you're like, oh, I'm out of here. Did they beat you? They don't get the satisfaction because they had a really good shoot, and they actually don't get to have that. And you'd be like, well, that's right, they never got to beat me. Well, they didn't, but you pulled out of a whole bunch of shoots. It doesn't ever worry me to get beaten. And you might say, well, that sounds weird. It means I've got to train harder. It means I've got to get better. And it means the other person has to get better who beat me. When I first came to this state, South Australia, there was a guy I was trying to beat. His name's Justin. He was one of the top shooters in the state, and I'd never beaten him. And I would be training. I was training my butt off. And I got close. I got close once, right? I got close, and I was like, so close, I missed it. Anyway, one of the shoots, it might have taken me 2 years, one of the shoots I beat him, and I was like, thank God. It's like 2 years it took me. And the thing is, 2 years. 2 years of working my butt off to... Now, he might have said he had a bad shoot. I don't know. I think he had a good shoot. But the thing was, my scores kept improving. And his scores were improving. The other day, he shot a score, very high score. I've never shot a high score like that before. But that's a world-class score he shot the other day. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's awesome for him that he achieved it. And I'm like... So as much as you're competing against yourself, you're competing with others, but... by improving yourself, you'll improve other people along the way too. I'm at the club yesterday. We were shooting a tournament. It was for men's mental health tournament. It was called Loud Shirt Day, so you had to wear a bright shirt. And one of the lady archers wasn't shooting. And I said to her after the shoot, I said, why aren't you shooting? She goes, oh, I didn't have any sight settings. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just shoot a short distance. You're not going to get better not shooting. Just go there and shoot. It doesn't matter if you shoot 10 meters. Just go there, shoot. Shoot those arrows. Fatigue your body. Get used, feel the muscles in your body. Get better. And if your body is fatigued, then shoot less arrows. If you get to a stage where you can't shoot anymore, well, that's it, my body's fatigued. You've had success. You're improving, you're getting stronger. Let's shoot the last one. I don't know what the group's like. Look, I like the feel of the bow. This is definitely a bow I would shoot. This here is for a two-piece quiver. Now PSE don't make two-piece quivers, and that's just silly. It's got the ability for to fit a integrated arrow rest in the back here, which is kind of cool. Who makes an integrated arrow rest? That's the question. I don't know the answer. I'm going to guess it's QAD. But I don't know who makes the integrated arrow rest. It must be a new thing. I know Matthews have one, and it's made. Matthews has an integrated one. Hoyt's got an integrated rest. One of my customers brought it, and I think it was $500 for the rest. And I'm like, my rest is $40. It's like, like it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty, and that's cool. But look, I mean, this bow is so nice to shoot. It doesn't move. It's just stable in the hand. It's It's probably 4.5 pounds, 4.6 pounds, so it's just the kind of perfect weight. If a bow's too light, it moves around a lot. If it's too heavy, then it's just heavy for walking around the bush with. This is, like, to me, a perfect weight. All these holes will give you wind flow. So if there's wind, less area to get in, less area for the wind to hit. Look, overall, it's a beautiful bow. Price point, PSE's up their price point, as most manufacturers have in COVID, as everything has in COVID. Food prices, petrol prices, house prices, poodle prices, everything's gone through the roof. These bows now about 1,700 Australian dollars, where the NXT 31, which is a similar kind of bow from a couple of years ago, would have been around the $1,400, so about $300 more. Freight's up slightly, but it's really PSE put up their price a little bit, and that'll be because materials have gone up, or labour, or whatever. But this, I think the finish of it's good. It feels better. It feels nice. Let's go down and have a look how I shot with it. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. So I've obviously got an 8 down there, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 arrows I shot, and I shot 1/8. Now, if you go to an archery club and you shoot 1/8 at 18 meters on indoor target face, you're going to be one of the better shooters at the club. A lot of people are scared to go to an archery club because they're going to say there's lots of good archers there. I'm going to say most people at archery clubs are recreational shooters, which means they come out once a week, they shoot their arrows, and they go home. There are people who shoot every day because they want to get better and they want to improve. I shoot every day because I enjoy shooting arrows. I like getting stronger. I'm sitting there, like this morning I did weights before I shot my recurve. Part of shooting recurve, I get stronger. I'm drawing this bow back easier because I'm shooting a 50-pound recurve now. So this group, very happy with it. It's probably not as tight as some of the groups, but it's definitely in the ballpark with one of my best groups. And often you'll see these reviews I do, I shoot better with a hunting bow than the target bow. And the reason for that is the bow's better balanced than the target bow. The target bow will be very back heavy. The brace height will be similar. The target bow will have about a 7-inch brace height. The hunting bow's got about a 7-inch brace height. Cams are the same. Their limbs are parallel on the hunting bow, so it just sits there in your hand when you shoot, which makes it easier. Look, it's a very easy bow to shoot. Even though it's top end and even though it's fast, it's a good end. Now, I've had success with shooting shorter bows. The Elite Envision I shot very well with. I really enjoyed that bow. The Bowtech Solution, their short hunting bow I shot very well with. The Hoyt Torrents I shot very well with. I'm finding difficulty in picking the difference between longer and shorter bows in accuracy, and I'm going to set up some some target sights on a shorter hunting bow and see what sort of score I shot, because I'm struggling to see any difference. And when people have taken their target bow and gone to like a 35-inch bow, they shoot about the same scores for target. So I'm not sure whether you see that much of a decrease in scores with the axle size being shorter. I'm certainly happy with that. And if I was looking for a hunting bow, I would probably go the 30-inch. But then I look at the 33, which is also available. I'm like, well, that might be a little bit more forgiving. I could probably use it for 3D, but I could shoot this also for 3D. And I think I would shoot it quite well. And one of the problems I find if you're looking to buy a bow like this, like the 30-inch bow, you're like, well, what cam do I fit? Do I go the E2? Do I go the EC? Do I go the S2? You're probably going to cross the S2 off because it's shorter draw length. So you're like, do I go for E2 or S2? And then you're like, well, do I go for the 33 or the 30? And then you get confused. I'm going to say there's not a lot of difference between this stuff. I get confused and then I don't make a decision because I'm confused. There's not a lot of thing on it. My way of making a decision will be the EC is smoother, I'd go for the smoother cam. But if I did go for the faster cam, I seem to shoot quite well with it, so that wouldn't faze me at all. which is why I try stuff. Like with recurves, I'm trying out all different arrows, all different flights, different limbs. I'm trying out stuff to see if I can pick up a few points. But this is lovely, beautiful bow to shoot. PSE's made a really good, solid bow. PSE lifetime warranty doesn't include strings and cables. They do a really good warranty service, the best in the industry. If you have a problem with a PSE, it will be fixed. And I'm probably putting that out there, but I mean, I've been selling PSE for 20 years and I haven't had a problem. As far as like, I've replaced stuff, but at no stage in 20 years the PSE said, we're not helping you, Stephen. It's like if I say, look, this guy did this, you know, can you help him out? They generally do. And even in the weirds, you know, where people blow up the bow, dry fire the bow, they'll generally help you out. So they are really good on customer service. Shipping times are pretty good at the moment on PSE. So all shipping times are getting better with all the bow companies. PSE is pretty solid at the moment. They're shipping every week to us. What I get every week's debatable, but I am getting PSE shipments every single week. So the strings on the XF are a live wire string, which are made in the PSE factory on a computer. So they're made by a computer without people. They're very good. You get very limited peep rotation on them. I wouldn't be changing them. So, but a nice bow. They have some nice colours as well to consider. But that one is the mossy oak, and it's really, really nice bow. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.